I'm Lisa, and you're with Velo Dulce, the show where we talk women, cycling, and life. Velo Dulce is from the Italian phrase La vita dolce, which means the good life. These are stories from women around the world on finding the good life through life on a bicycle. Hi, everybody, and welcome to Velo Dulce for 2023. Thank you for listening. Thank you for joining me. Thank you for your time and energy. I know that they are precious commodities in this day and age. And speaking of time and energy, that is the topic I wanted to talk about today. Instagram versus reality. We all devote a lot of time and energy to social media. And I felt like it was worth delving in. Before we do, I just want to clarify the podcast format for 2023. I'm going to be popping my head in now and then in 2023, and that is because there is a lot I want to share and there is a lot I want to talk about. So as much as we will continue to host guests, I will also host a solo podcast every now and then when I feel it is a topic worthy of discussion. And with that, we dive in today's topic, Insta versus reality. It's been something on my mind a lot. Something I love about this show is that, excuse me, we get to hear the stories behind the story. And I've always loved that because I've always wanted to hear what the truth is about someone's life. And I think that speaks perfectly to the topic. You know, if you look on my Instagram handle, you will see photos of Mauritius and of Cape Town and of me cycling and generally beautiful things. My family, coffees, trips, friends, and it is beautiful, and my life is beautiful. But that doesn't mean there isn't stuff going on in the background. You know, I spoke about it on the last show at the end of September last year. I got COVID really badly. It knocked me terribly, actually, and I don't think I'm out of the health woods yet, and we're almost 4 months down the line. October, November, December, 4 months. For those of you who don't know, a number of years ago, I think 2017, I was diagnosed with Lyme disease, just like one of my good friends, Jenny Green. And at the time, I was moving to the UK, and I didn't really have the money to deal with it, and I didn't have the energy to deal with it. And so kind of the treatment I was prescribed was like 10,000 Rand, and I just didn't have that money at the time. And so I was like, cool, I am just going to ignore this until it goes away. It took me a number of months, but thankfully it did go away. With COVID, I think COVID triggered a Lyme disease resurgence, and I have really been battling with my health. In fact, I was diagnosed with knee arthritis at the end of last year. And I was like, but I am 44 years old. How can I have knee arthritis? And the pain has been so bad that often I'm in tears. My truly good friends will tell you that it's not everything you see on Instagram. And it's been very, very challenging health-wise. And I'm not any special, actually. I think that a lot of people's Instagram profiles, if you go onto it, you will just see, pictures of joy and happiness, but what's happening behind the scenes isn't necessarily that easy. And that's not to say, I think social media is something you have to choose how to use it. I wouldn't change how I use Instagram or any other platform for that matter. I think social media, like anything in life, is a very, very personal journey. Excuse me. Yeah. And I know a girl, I went to school with her sister many, 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 many years ago. And her sister, to me, always seemed to have the perfect life. Beautiful, blonde, looked like a supermodel, had 2 gorgeous kids, an amazing husband. And I started following her journey a couple of months back on Facebook when I saw her post about her husband having cancer. And long story short, her husband passed away at the end of last year. And it just really made me think about how you never actually know what is going on in someone else's life. And I think sometimes we look at social media and we're like, oh, that person has this or that person has that. And I am totally guilty of that. Like, oh, I wish I could cycle like this person, or I wish I was skinny like that person, or, and you kind of fall into the trap of like, when I'm like that, like my life will be perfect and I will be happy. And it just isn't like that at all. All of us are dealing with some kind of challenge. If you're listening to this, I have no doubt. Just look at my guest from last year, Vera Lusa, who's a pro athlete and winning races, like literally winning races in Europe, in South Africa, and can't get a sponsorship. She has to work so she can pay to support her pro cycling, which is literally crazy. So yeah, I just wanted to talk today about life behind the scenes. I was sitting on the plane the other day, coming back from Cape Town, and I was thinking about what is the formula for life? Like, okay, someone must have this thing figured out, right? Like, if we could just figure it out, everything would be fine. And if you've known me for a long enough time, I used to coach and I used to talk about the 7 principles of magic. And to be honest, the 7 principles of magic, I think, are probably still relevant. However, they do require some hefty application. And no, I am not going to go into them right now because that is not the basis for this discussion. Anyhow, I was thinking about like, what is the formula for life? And if I have discovered it, and will it take pain away? And will it make your life seem Instagram worthy? And that was a whole 2-hour thought process in my mind, because to be honest, well, I'll tell you why nothing else can make your life Instagram worthy. And secondly, so I'll tell you the story in a moment. But what came to me is that there are 3 things I think that are a necessity in this day and age. Things are pretty hectic in the world for everybody. It's not just South Africa. It's not just the Ukraine. The world is a pretty crazy place. And I think these three things can go a long way to alleviating some of the challenges. They can't take it away, they can't take the pain away, but they can help somewhat. And I call it the ABC formula. And this is what I thought about on the plane. This is what I thought about on the plane the other day. One is accountability, two is belief, and three is consistency. ABC, accountability, belief, and consistency. What does that mean? Accountability. For the longest time, I have not taken accountability for my mistakes. It's so easy to blame someone else. It's like, oh, this person did this to me, or, he behaved like that. And then you are the victim in the story. And it's like, woe is me. And, it's a beautiful game to play. But it prevents you from actually gaining any forward momentum in your life. So I started to think about accountability and also about authenticity, and what that really means. I have made a lot of mistakes in my life, and I have always felt guilty for them, but I've never really taken accountability for them. Like, accountability is different to guilt. It means, okay, I see what I did. I forgive myself, and I'm going to adjust my behavior so that I don't make those same mistakes. And the minute you blame someone else or you make yourself the victim of the story, you can never achieve accountability and you can't go forward. So I've been thinking about accountability. Then I've been thinking about belief, like belief, internal and external belief, belief in yourself, belief in life. I think if you've been through trauma, you have no more faith left in life. You're like, well, life always kind of blows me like a shit deal, and like there's no point believing anymore. But where does that leave you? And I think you need belief in one or the other. So you either need belief in yourself, or you need belief in life or God or a higher purpose, ideally both. But sometimes that's not possible, at least without a great deal of counseling. And so that is, for me, the second part of the formula. If you can find some kind of belief that at some point this whole crazy story is going to make sense, I think that goes a long way to alleviating the pain of the reality behind Insta. And the third is consistency, and that's really about habits. Like, what habits do we keep that either propel us forward or keep us back? And we all have both. We'll all have both. And something, if we go back to the health issue I'm experiencing, I had to take accountability and accept the reality of the situation. Like, the reality is I'm really battling with health. Do I have belief that this is all going to come right? Yes. But now I need to make some different choices about the food I put in my body, or the kind of exercise I do, or how I spend my time and energy. And it's been an interesting journey, and it hasn't just been with health, it's been with some of you may know I started writing a novel in 2021. So I wrote the novel. I said to myself, I want to write a world best-selling novel. The end. And what happened was my editor and my mom told me it was crap and would need some concerted effort in rewriting it. I was incredibly depressed and very upset because this was my story, blah, 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 and I needed to be a world bestseller. Anyhow, long story short, 2022, I rewrote the book, but I wrote it just for me. I didn't write it to be a world bestseller. So in other words, I didn't write it to be Insta worthy. I wrote it for me. And I said to myself, I want to write the book that has been sitting inside of me for the longest time. And I want to write it to the best of my ability. And that's what I'm going to do. And I went ahead and I did that. And I feel so relieved and so proud of the book, even though nobody's read it yet. It doesn't really matter. And yes, I will publish it. But for once, I wasn't doing something to chase the fame. I wasn't doing something so that, I could get more proverbial likes. I was doing it because it was really, really authentic. And I think that is the whole bottom line about the whole of life is like, what are you doing and why are you doing it? Are you doing it out of pain? Are you doing it because you need to be famous? Are you doing it because, you need the whole world to see a certain side of you? Or are you doing it because it really, really matters to you? And I don't know why I had to start off the year with the subject, and it's not going to be a super long podcast. Excuse me, as you can hear, I'm still battling with a chest infection. But the bottom line is that I wanted to challenge myself and I wanted to challenge you this year. Can we dare to go into reality as opposed to Insta? I'm not saying leave social media. I'm not saying stop posting on social media. I'm not saying actually anything about social media itself. I'm just saying, what is the reality of your life right now? And what is that calling to you to do? Like, is there an element of accountability you need to take? Is there some belief that needs to be changed? And I used to argue with my sister, like, oh, you can't just change your belief at the drop of a hat. And she's done EFT and a whole lot of alternative therapy. And she was like, well, if you just find one belief that is kind of 1 degree higher from where you are, that is already a change. For instance, life always lets me down could be changed to, I don't know what's coming, but I know that I can handle it. Or life is also beautiful. So you're not denying the reality of things, but you're putting your belief kind of 1 level higher. And then what do you need to do on a consistent basis to change things? One thing I know I have to do and have started doing is changing my diet. Like, you will know, I love pastries, I love flan, I love chocolates, but it hasn't been good for where my health is at, nor where my body is at. And that I've had to change. And that's okay. That's okay. Maybe I will switch to that kind of diet forever. Maybe I won't. But that's the accountability of where I've been at. And changing my belief has been about thinking, this is a gift to me, although I haven't seen it yet. And I trust that life is showing me the way. And that's been that's given me relief. Like, okay, I don't have to know the way. I trust that life is showing me the way and that it's all going to be okay. A long time ago, my friend Derek said to me, he said, Lisa, it will all be okay in the end. And if it's not okay, it's not the end. And I love that. I always go back to that when I need to. So welcome to 2023. I wish you all a very, very, very blessed and very beautiful year. I'm going to write a blog about accountability, belief, and consistency on my blog. So yeah, feel free to read it. And I'd love to hear from you. And I will check in with you guys once a month this year. Keep moving forward. Life is messy. Life is messy and you can cry, but you have to keep pedaling. So I will see you soon. I wish you a beautiful, beautiful year. Remember that the magic is in reality, not Insta. And I'd love to hear your comments. All the best and see you on the next episode. Cheers. Thank you for listening to today's episode of Velo Dulce. If you love the show, please share it with a friend, rate it on iTunes. In the meantime, I end off a little bit differently today. I wish you a fantastic year. Life is messy, but ride fast and live well. And I will see you on the next episode of Velo Dulce.